Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about Fred D. Gray. Not Freddie Gray, Fred D. middle initial Gray, and Montgomery, Alabama. Now, if you're not familiar with Fred Gray, if you don't recognize that name, I can assure you you're familiar with his work. You know some of the things he accomplished. He was born in 1930. So he's 90, 91 years old, something like that now. Spent time in Montgomery, Alabama, and on Jefferson Davis Avenue. And it was there that he swore he would destroy everything that was segregated. And he did everything he could to keep that promise. Some of his clients, who you might have heard of at some point, include Rosa Parks, Claudette Colvin, some people from the Tuskegee experiment, Martin Luther King. He got Martin Luther King off on tax evasion charges in front of an all-white jury. Martin Luther King referred to him as the general counsel of the movement. Court cases include Browder versus Gale and Alabama versus Dixon and a whole bunch of others that I'm sure I don't know. He went on in 1985. He was president of the National Bar Association. In 2001, he became the first black president of the Alabama State Bar. Incredibly accomplished man. Now, the city of Montgomery decided to name a road after him. And a fitting one would be, Jefferson Davis Avenue. So now the state of Alabama wants $25,000 because back when everybody was whining about Confederate monuments, they passed a law saying you couldn't rename them, remove them, so on and so forth, or you'd face a $25,000 fine. Now, upon hearing this, my first thought was, I'm willing to bet we can find the people to put together that money and pay that fine. And then I started looking into the story a little bit more. People from all over the South, all over Alabama, and all over Montgomery have already offered to pay the fine because it is a new South. It is a new South. And Montgomery, a place known as the cradle of the Confederacy, is trying to step into that new South. But the state of Alabama is intent on clinging to a personality from a failed nation more than 150 years ago, instead of honoring an American icon, somebody literally born into oppression, who made it in every possible way. Along the way, stuff that I didn't even include in this. I mean, he was a preacher too. This is a person who, true rags to riches story, pauper to the halls of power. It's an American success story. Could honor that. But instead, they're going to say something about heritage, which to this day I don't understand. It's one of the most confusing things on the planet to me, is how 5 horrible years from more than 150 years ago is the summation of Southern heritage. I mean, everybody watching this channel knows it's a dog whistle, but let's pretend it's not for a second. Take that out of it for a second. Let's say it's not about hate. Let's remove the abject horror that was slavery from this story. I still don't understand how this is Southern heritage. 5 horrible years with no positive impacts on the South, more than 150 years ago. Designing Women, the TV show, had more of a positive impact on the South, and incidentally, it lasted longer. I don't see how that is the summation of Southern heritage. even if you take away all of the evil that is associated with it. The state of Alabama needs to decide whether they want to at least join the 1900s, while most people in the South are ready to move forward. A lot of these state legislatures, they don't exactly have their finger on the pulse of the people. Now, while there are plenty of people who are willing to pay this fine to see that Montgomery isn't left holding the bill, the mayor is considering taking it to court and fighting it. I think in the case of Fred Gray, that may be the most fitting thing of all, because this is a man who spent large portions of his life using the machinery for change, using the law, enforcing the law to catch up with thought. Using a street renamed after him to accomplish the same thing today is probably more of a fitting memorial than the street itself. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.